How are you?
Good. How are you?
So nice to meet
Good.
you.
So, what was it about this series that you both knew that this was something you wanted to do?
Oh my God. Like from the second I read the pilot, I love a mystery. Okay. I love a thriller. It's what I watch in general. I also just watch like a lot of Datelines. Like I love crime. Okay. I don't know why. I don't know what that says about me. But I was really excited, especially from the first scene that Nikki, gets to do when it starts out with this like crazy kidnapping. And it's set in the 80s, the world of like rock and roll, right? And like metal hair bands. And it's just such a visually rich time period in general and just fun, and like the freaking music is amazing. So I was just excited to read it. And then of course my character, I was like, okay, what's going on with her? Something fascinating was happening there.
Yeah, I think for me, absolutely the writing. As soon as I read the pilot, I was so hooked and I wanted to know more about it. Our writer, Matt, is incredible, so talented. And I myself am like a huge fan of the 80s and 80s metal. I have like band posters all over my room. So I feel like this is my dream job. I feel like I manifested it. I was so excited to live in that world. And the soundtrack, everything just really drew me in.
So, Nikki, I wanna ask though because we come in with such a horror trope, but it's twisted on its head slightly. How was that for you playing that?
It was a lot of fun. Lots of long hours, lots of stunts, which I love doing those kind of physical scenes. It's challenging, but I love to kind of dive headfirst into those difficult situations. Um, I think what is so great is there's no way to pretend that you're scared when there's actual masked men that are like slamming you on a bed and like chasing you. So it was it was very difficult and challenging, but it almost made my job easier in that sense, working with such an incredible stunt team and also such great actors.
And can you tease anything about Tracy? I have watched the first episode just to get an idea of it, so I have no idea. But
Oh,
there is
there's
something
so much
there.
good stuff coming
Yeah,
your
there is
way.
something about Tracy already. So can you
Yeah.
tease something about it?
Yeah. So, from first glance, it might look like Tracy is just, a very controlling, kind of kooky church lady. And, obviously she's being set up to be the quote unquote villain of the series, right? But in this season, I got very fortunate where you get to go back in time on a certain episode and you get to see who Tracy really is. And you get to see what's driven her to become who she is today and why she uses religion as such an armor and as such a survival tool. So it's a really fascinating look beneath the surface of who this woman is. And I was just so grateful to get to have that episode. So you have a lot of fun things coming your way if you've only seen the pilot.
So was it fun for you then being able to not just have the 80s, but then a previous decade or two, whichever one it is?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you get to see, I won't give too much away, but you get to see kind of like a young me in the 60s. So the show does a lot of time traveling and it's very cool. So there's actually another actress playing me. So she's like the younger version, which was great. But just reading those scripts, I was like, oh my God, I knew there was something underneath there that she's locked down a little bit, you know what I mean? And you get to see that. So it was really, really exciting.
So just as my last question, is there anything you'd both like people to take away from this series? Because it is not just your stereotypical horror, even though it seems it.
I mean, I would say for Faith, I think throughout the season you kind of see her step into her individuality and kind of blossom into her own person and stand up for herself. So that would be my takeaway message for Faith.
I think, the series, it's set in the 80s, but it's incredibly relevant today. Every generation wants to rebel, against the previous generation. And the 80s, we were doing it to an extreme, you know, visually with music. And we're still dealing with censorship today. I mean, there's certain books that people want to take out of schools. You know, there's certain people that people, you know, don't want to have the same rights. It's all happening just at a different time. And I hope that our show can shed light on the fact that you need to let change happen. Change needs to occur, and we need to accept people for their differences and accept the outsiders. And there's nothing wrong with you if you are, you know, wanting to love rock and roll or whatever it may be. Like, that should be celebrated and not shunned. So I really hope that our show can shed a light on that.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I can't wait to watch the rest of the screeners that I have, but it's been a pleasure chatting to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.